Hello, I'm and I'm a predatory lender. Today we'll be discussing predatory lending. Halloween just recently passed, and well, it didn't go too well for me. After a scary lineup and an even scarier shower scene, I had to spend some time in a place, well, I'd rather not talk about. But the judge found it in their heart to allow me to make this community service video for you. And that's allowed me to go back and see my family yet again. You know, she was a model, you know. And after giving me two wonderful little ones, she is able to remain much of her modeling appearance. And after all this, she was quite happy to see me. But the mother-in-law, well, that's another story. Now, over the years, we have used our laser-like focus to do many things. Now, one of the more despicable things is the practice of predatory lending. It's where we take advantage of homeowners and college students instead of doing good, wholesome things like hero hunting. That's where we put homeowners into a home that they can't afford, only to have them find something scary in the closet just a short time later. There's also these things called credit cards, which ends up leaving you with a real sucking feeling in the end. So like any good disc weapon, it always seems to come back and get you in the end. Leading them into a forced sale where they have to take a real bath just before they're skinned alive. Skin. Now, if you're able to survive that, you can declare bankruptcy and move into a smaller house to where you will be scarred for life. So how do we make money from you? We use these things called savings accounts and certificates of deposit. We borrow money from you at 0.75% and 3.5%. And we also borrow from the Federal Reserve at 1%. Now, how do we make money? We loan it back to you in things called auto loans at 4.25%, or mortgages at 6.5%, or credit cards at 9%. Also, if you're one of these targeted customers, you can qualify for a 0% credit card for 12 months. And then goes to a mere 17.99% after that. Of course, you don't want to forget this extra little 3% of camouflage fees here. So, how do you gear up to take advantage of this situation? Well, let me tell you a story that my father told me, and his father before him. It was about a cowardly lad named Blah. He was a prince and a member of the royal family, and was banished to a primitive world called Earth, leaving his princess behind. Upon landing on Earth, he discovered many primitive beings. He sought peace with them and was able to teach them many things. Although he was a failed hunter, he was able to teach them the system of banking. And he was quite successful in doing so, and where he was able to seek many wives. But alas, in his old age, they grew tired with him and eventually killed him. But his system of predatory lending remains to this day. Now, how this all works is, well, their least profitable way of doing so is with the certificates of deposit. They borrow money from you at 3.5% and loan it back to you, roughly between 3 to 17%. So their profit margins here are roughly between 0.75% to 14.5%. Their next most profitable way of making money is from the Federal Reserve. They borrow at 1% and loan it back to you at 3 to 17%. So their profit margins here are roughly between 2 to 16%. But their most profitable way of making money here is with these things called savings account. Yep, that's right, savings account. They borrow money from you at 0.75% and loan it back to you at 3 to 17%. So their profit margins here are roughly between 2.25% and 17.25%. Pretty cool, huh? Makes you want to use these savings accounts, don't you? So overall, their profit margins are here as follows. So how do you gear up to take advantage of this chess game we call life? It's with their own weapons, the credit card. You take their 0% for 12 months, aka 3%, and you merely go out and get a certificate of deposit at 3.5%. So you end up making 0.5% merely to give them back their own money. Pretty cool, huh? But unless you're dealing with large amounts of money, that doesn't make sense for most people. So the key here is the transfer fee. In most cases, it'll be 3%, $10 minimum, no maximum. Hear that? No maximum. So what you need here is to have a maximum. In a lot of cases, you can get a 3% or $75 maximum. AKA, you must have some sort of maximum here. So if you have a maximum, you can go out and can get a convenience check or some other way of putting the money into your account without any additional fees. So once you have that, you can borrow that 3% for $75. Now on a typical $5,000 balance, it'll cost you $75 or a 1.5% real rate to borrow these monies. Then when you go out and get your certificate of deposit at 3.5%, you make $175. Minus the $75 to borrow, you make $100 profit for 12 months. Now you have your that leaves you with a 2.5% profit margin there, which is very similar to what the banks are making from you. That makes these guys pretty unhappy, huh? There's also these things called bonds. Muni bonds, corporate bonds, and high yield bonds, ranging from 4.5% to 10%. Now that's another way to make some money. But warning, you must be able to make the monthly payments. In most cases, this will range between $100 to $200 a month. If you can do that, you can move on. Now, to keep this all from blowing up in your face, all investments must mature before the loan is due. Before the loan is due. Yet again, before the loan is due. Now, if your 3% is going up to 17%, you have to pay this off before then. So in end, remember, I'm just like you. I have my house payments to make, my car payments as well. So before they carry me away, I'd like to remind you there are many scary people out there, no matter what kind of mask they wear. So in closing, I should be out of here real soon. So with good behavior and your call to your local representative, I should be out soon. So please call your congressman. Please. Please.